When you start reading Remarkable Creatures, we're on a beach. And that beach is on the south coast of England in a town called Lyme Regis, a little isolated place. And it's the early 19th century. And we're out with two women, one named Elizabeth Philpott, a middle-class spinster who lives in Lyme Regis and is passionate about fossils, and Mary Anning, who is a working-class girl who collects fossils for a living and sells them. And the story is about their friendship. I was inspired to write this book because I went to a little dinosaur museum in Dorchester, which is in Dorset in southern England. And this little tiny museum, I mean, it's just a few rooms, but there's a little corner that had this section about this woman named Mary Anning, who found some of the first complete dinosaur, ancient marine reptile specimens in England. And she was a working class woman who found and sold these specimens for money, and got to know some of the great scientists of the time and had her own opinions about what these creatures were. And I was reading about her and looking at pictures of her, and one of the things that really fascinated me was when she was 15 months old, she was a baby, she was struck by lightning and survived. Now the woman holding her and the two women next to her all died, but Mary survived. And they said that she'd started out as a kind of sickly, quiet baby. And after this, she was lively and intelligent. And I just looked at that and I thought, you could not make that up. If I wrote that in a novel, nobody would believe it. And I thought, I have got to write about her. I love researching my novels. I think if I could just do the research and never have to write, I'd be really happy. But you know, I'd never do the research if I didn't have to write it. So but I do not just a lot of reading and all that stuff, but I have to get my hands dirty. And in this case, I literally got my hands dirty. I went to Lyme Regis a lot. I got to know some fossil hunters, because there are still a lot of people who do fossil hunting there. There's lots of fossils you can find on the beach. This is the vertebra from a plesiosaur, 200 million years old, and it is part of the pelvic region from that part, and the animal would have been about 12 feet long. And it's really quite amazing. I've just been told that it's something you don't find very often on the beach here. You find a lot of vertebra from ichthyosaurs, but plesiosaurs it's harder. And this is I was just walking along, and there were these rocks, and I happened to see the kind of scores of markings along here that looked a lot like bone. It's like the grain of bone, and that stuck out to me from all of the rocks, and I just picked it up, and I knew immediately from the shape, because of this concave bit right there and there, and the shape of it, you can tell immediately it's a vertebrate. I hope that readers who've read Remarkable Creatures get the desire to go out on the beach and have a look around. Start looking at rocks in different ways, start looking for fossils, and thinking about the world as being layers and layers of history. And we are creating a layer right now. Everything that we see around us is, at one day, millions of years from now, going to be a layer, just like the layer that Mary Anning was digging out, or you might dig out on the beach. And it makes you feel like you're part of a much bigger world, a much more complicated world, and actually there's something very comforting about it, knowing that all this stuff is going to come after you and all this stuff has come before you, and you're held right in the middle of it.